In a small town, there lived a young woman named Sarah. She was kind-hearted and always willing to lend a hand to those in need. Yet, despite her cheerful demeanor, Sarah often felt a deep sense of loneliness. Each day, she wore a smile, but inside, she battled the shadows of doubt and isolation. One rainy afternoon, while walking home from work, Sarah saw a group of children playing under the awning of a nearby store. They were laughing and sharing stories, their voices bright against the gloomy weather. As she paused and watched them, a pang of longing shot through her heart. She remembered a time when she felt completely connected with others, time spent with family and friends, bursting with laughter and love. But now, the distance between her and those joyful moments felt as wide as the sky. At home that night, while trying to shake off her feelings of loneliness, Sarah picked up her Bible and began to read. She turned to the New Testament and came across the comforting words of Jesus, "In my Father's house are many rooms." Instantly, her heart stirred. Was it possible that these words held a promise meant just for her? This is where we pause to reflect on the struggles that many face today. Just like Sarah, countless people walk through life feeling lost or disconnected. Whether it's due to loss, heartbreak, or just the everyday stresses that keep us busy, it's easy to feel alone. We crave connection and belonging, yet sometimes it feels as though those desires slip further away. As we dive deeper into what Jesus meant by, "My Father's house has many rooms," let's consider the historical context. When Jesus spoke these words to his disciples in John 14, he was preparing them for his departure. He understood their fears, they worried about what would happen next and if they could find solace after losing him. By using the imagery of a house with many rooms, Jesus assured them that there would always be a place for them in God's love, a place where they would never truly be alone. Take a moment to visualize this grand house that Jesus describes. It's not just a physical structure but a beautiful space filled with warmth and acceptance. Each room represents not only a unique relationship with God but also a place for everyone, no matter who they are or what they may have done. This house signifies belonging for all people, showcasing God's infinite love and mercy. Now think back to Sarah. Her journey through loneliness was not just about her own emotions, it paralleled the very promise of Jesus. Perhaps she realized that in this vast house with many rooms, her own room awaited her, a space where she could feel safe, loved, and valued. It was an encouragement for her to connect more deeply with herself and others. So how do we translate this message into our lives today? Jesus invites us to create our own rooms in our hearts and communities. When Sarah felt lonely, there were ways she could reach out, by inviting neighbors over for dinner or volunteering at local charities. Each act of kindness creates a room not only for ourselves but also for others who might feel lost or alone. By opening our hearts and homes, we can enable others to find that same comfort and hope that Sarah eventually discovered through faith. Imagine if each person took the time to build an inviting space for those who are struggling. Wouldn't the world be a brighter place? Just like each room in Jesus' house can welcome everyone, our lives can reflect that same spirit of love. As we ponder this beautiful idea of many rooms in God's house, let us remember it serves as both a reminder and an invitation, a chance to embrace our communal journey toward hope. As we strive to live by these teachings, let's open our arms wide and ensure that everyone knows they too have a place where they belong. In closing, remember Sarah's story as you navigate your own struggles. When you feel lost or alone, hold on to the truth that there is always room for you in God's heart. And don't hesitate to create space for others in your life because together, we all can find warmth in the promise that beyond this world, there is truly a home waiting for us all. As Sarah sat quietly in her room, the comforting words of Jesus echoed in her mind, "In my Father's house are many rooms." She closed her eyes, imagining a vast, welcoming place filled with light and love. It was a promise that resonated deeply within her heart. But what did it truly mean? To understand the depth of Jesus' message, we need to look back to the context in which he spoke those words. Picture the scene. Jesus and his disciples were gathered together for one last meal before his crucifixion. The mood was heavy, they could sense change was coming. The air was thick with uncertainty and fear, and the disciples were troubled. They had followed Jesus for years, and now he was telling them he would soon leave them. In this moment of vulnerability, Jesus offered reassurance. He understood their worries about the future, the doubts that crept in with every change. So, he shared these beautiful words about his Father's house having many rooms, providing comfort and clarity amid their confusion. He was letting them know that there would always be a place for them in God's love, no matter what lay ahead. The phrase, many rooms, isn't just a metaphor for space, it symbolizes God's infinite acceptance and love for everyone. Each room represents a unique relationship with Him. Imagine a grand house, each room beautifully decorated, each one different but equally welcoming. This imagery illustrates that there is no limit to God's capacity to embrace all of us, regardless of our past or present situations. Jesus' promise also highlights the notion of belonging, an idea that has become crucial in our own lives today. We often find ourselves questioning our place in the world, especially when we face challenges or feel disconnected like Sarah did. Can we really find solace and acceptance when life feels overwhelming? Jesus assures us through this message that there is always room for us in His heart, and we are never alone in our struggles. Consider the disciples for a moment. They faced uncertainty and fear about their futures without Jesus by their side. Yet, He encouraged them by painting a picture of hope and reassurance, reminding them that their relationship with God was secure and would not change even when circumstances did. This meant that every one of them had a purpose and a safe haven waiting for them. Now let's take this concept into our daily lives. In a world where people often feel like they don't belong, Jesus' message becomes even more significant. It compels us to reflect on how we can create our own spaces of kindness and acceptance for others around us. Just as Jesus reassured His disciples that they had a place in God's house, we can offer support and understanding to those who may feel lost. By embodying this message in our interactions, we become active participants in Jesus' vision of a community built on love. When we approach others with open hearts and minds, we can help fill those empty rooms in their lives with warmth and compassion. So often, people are searching for a place where they can feel safe and valued, just as Sarah longed for during her moments of loneliness. If we take Jesus' words to heart, we can strive to be the ones who provide that sense of belonging for someone else. Imagine if every person took these teachings to heart. What if we actively looked for opportunities to create rooms of love in our own communities? Inviting neighbors over for dinner, reaching out to friends who may be struggling, or simply offering a listening ear can help build those spaces where everyone feels welcomed and accepted. Ultimately, Jesus' words remind us that belonging is not just about having a physical space, it's about connection and understanding among people. As we continue this journey together, let's keep this message alive in our hearts. There is always room for everyone in God's vast home, and in our own lives as well. As Sarah began to internalize this message, she felt a renewed sense of purpose blossoming within her. No longer will she feel like merely a visitor in the world, instead, she would strive to make room for others too. And with each act of kindness she extended, she could feel the walls of loneliness shrinking, both for herself and for those she reached out to touch with her love. As Sarah continued to reflect on the beautiful idea of many rooms in God's house, she felt compelled to delve deeper into the context of these profound words. To truly appreciate their significance, it's important to understand the setting in which Jesus spoke them. Imagine a dimly lit room filled with tension and unease. This was the scene during the Last Supper, a momentous gathering where Jesus shared His final meal with His disciples before His crucifixion. The atmosphere was thick with apprehension as the disciples sensed that something monumental was about to happen. They had followed Jesus closely for years, witnessing miracles and teachings that transformed lives. Yet now, they faced uncertainty, the fear of losing their teacher and friend loomed heavy over them. In this critical moment, Jesus took it upon Himself to reassure His followers. He recognized their fears and the doubts swirling in their hearts. As they sat around the table, grappling with the impending separation, He offered them a message of hope. The phrase, "In my Father's house are many rooms," was not just a poetic expression, it was a lifeline meant to anchor their faith amidst turmoil. Jesus understood that His disciples were struggling with feelings of abandonment and confusion. They worried about what would happen next, who would guide them, who would protect them, and whether they would find comfort after His departure. In these moments of vulnerability, Jesus painted a picture of belonging and acceptance, assuring them that no matter what challenges awaited, there would always be a place for them in God's love. This message was incredibly significant for His audience. In biblical times, hospitality and community were deeply valued. A home was seen as more than just a physical structure, it represented safety, warmth, and connection. By using the imagery of a house with many rooms, Jesus conveyed that God's love is generous and boundless, accommodating all who seek refuge within it. Furthermore, this assurance transcended cultural boundaries. Jesus' words were an invitation to everyone, regardless of their background or past mistakes, to find solace in God's embrace. Each room signifies a unique relationship with Him, emphasizing that no one is excluded from his love. This concept would have resonated deeply with the disciples, who came from diverse backgrounds and experiences. As Sarah reflected on this context, she began to connect her own feelings of loneliness to the struggles faced by those early followers of Christ. Just like them, she sometimes felt uncertain about her place in the world and questioned whether she truly belonged anywhere. But learning about the circumstances surrounding Jesus' words inspired her to see her situation differently. In today's world, many people experience similar feelings of isolation and fear, whether from loss, change, or simply the fast pace of life that can leave us feeling disconnected. We are often bombarded with messages that highlight differences rather than commonalities. In such times, remembering Jesus' promise becomes essential. It reminds us that we are not alone and that there is always space for us in God's heart. This understanding encouraged Sarah to embrace her role in creating community around her. She realized that just as Jesus reassured his disciples, she could offer support and kindness to those who might feel lost or unwelcomed. Each act of compassion could help build a space where others could feel accepted and valued, a place where everyone could find their own room within her heart. As she contemplated how to embody this message in her life, Sarah envisioned inviting friends over for gatherings filled with laughter and warmth, creating an environment where everyone felt like they belonged. She thought about volunteering at local shelters or reaching out to neighbors who might be struggling, ensuring they knew they had a place among friends. Ultimately, reflecting on the biblical context of Jesus' words inspired Sarah to take action in her own life. She understood that while uncertainty and fear might surround her at times, she could find strength in the promise of God's love and use that assurance to create safe spaces for others in need. As Sarah embarked on this journey of building connections and fostering community, she held on to the powerful truth that there would always be room for everyone, not only in God's house but also in her life. And with each step forward, she let go of her loneliness and embraced the joy of belonging together with others on this shared journey of faith and love. As Sarah continued to ponder the profound words of Jesus, "In my Father's house are many rooms," she began to uncover layers of meaning behind this beautiful promise. It wasn't just a comforting phrase, it was an invitation filled with significance that resonated deeply with her own journey and experiences. To truly grasp what Jesus meant, we must consider the themes of inclusivity and acceptance woven throughout his message. The idea of many rooms suggests that God's love is not limited or exclusive. Instead, it stretches far and wide, encompassing every individual regardless of their background, struggles, or past mistakes. Each room in God's house serves as a reminder that there is space for everyone, a place where all can come as they are. Imagine a grand house where each room is uniquely designed. One might be filled with vibrant colors, representing joy and celebration, while another might be simple and serene, offering peace and solace. These diverse rooms symbolize the different relationships each person can have with God. Whether someone is joyful or sorrowful, seeking guidance or simply wanting companionship, there's a welcoming space available in God's heart. This message of inclusivity reflects the very nature of Jesus' teachings throughout his life. He often reached out to those who were marginalized, tax collectors, sinners, the sick, demonstrating that no one is beyond the reach of God's love. By emphasizing that his Father's house has many rooms, Jesus reassured his disciples that they would never be turned away, rather, they would always have a place to belong. As Sarah contemplated these insights, she felt an overwhelming sense of hope blossoming within her. The promise of eternal life that Jesus spoke about was not just a distant goal but a present reality tied to the idea of belonging here and now. It reminded her that life doesn't end in emptiness but continues in connection, with God and with each other. In today's world filled with division and loneliness, this message remains profoundly relevant. Many people struggle to find their place or feel accepted in communities that often emphasize differences rather than unity. Sarah recognized that just as Jesus welcomed everyone into his Father's house, she too could extend that same warmth and acceptance to those around her. With this realization came a powerful motivation for action. She envisioned creating spaces not only within her heart but also in her home and community where others could feel valued and welcomed. Sarah understood that small acts of kindness could transform lives, like inviting someone for coffee or reaching out to offer support during difficult times. Each gesture would help build bridges between people and fill those rooms with love and connection. Moreover, reflecting on the promise of eternal life also encouraged Sarah to explore deeper connections with others who might be struggling in silence. She thought about how important it was to listen, to truly hear someone's story, because everyone carries their own burdens. In those moments of vulnerability shared between friends or strangers alike lay the opportunity for healing and belonging. As she committed herself to embodying these teachings from Jesus' message, Sarah felt compelled to initiate community gatherings focused on connection rather than separation. She dreamed of hosting events where people could share their experiences openly, a space where stories could be exchanged over laughter or tears. Within such gatherings would lie the potential for growth and understanding, fostering an environment reminiscent of those many rooms in God's house. Ultimately, what Sarah grasped through her reflections was transformative. Making room for others wasn't merely about physical space, it was about creating an atmosphere rich in love and acceptance where everyone felt seen and cherished. Every act inspired by compassion had the power to change lives, not just for those around her but also for herself. As she embraced this calling, Sarah held onto the truth that there is indeed enough room for everyone, not only in God's vast home but also here on earth among us all. And so, she stepped forward boldly into her mission, to live out this message by welcoming others into her heart while encouraging them to find their own places within life's beautiful tapestry. In doing so, Sarah transformed both her loneliness and the lives of those she reached, a testament to the enduring promise found in Jesus' words, "There will always be room for love, acceptance, and belonging for all who seek it, even amidst life's uncertainties." As Sarah embraced the profound message of Jesus about the many rooms in his Father's house, she began to visualize how this message could translate into real-life actions. She understood that it wasn't enough just to reflect on the teachings, she needed to live them out in her community. In her small town, Sarah saw many opportunities to create spaces where people could feel welcomed and valued. One example came to mind, a local cafe that often felt empty during the afternoons. She thought about how beautiful it would be to turn that cafe into a gathering spot for people to share their stories, struggles, and laughter. By organizing weekly events, she could invite neighbors to come together over coffee and pastries, providing a warm environment where everyone could connect. Sarah knew that not everyone felt comfortable sharing personal experiences right away, so she decided to start with a simple theme, celebrating our stories. Each week, participants could share something that made them who they are, be it a favorite memory, a lesson learned, or even a hardship they overcame. This would not only help build bridges of understanding but also foster a sense of camaraderie among those who might feel isolated. Moreover, Sarah recognized that community outreach could play a vital role in applying Jesus' message. She reached out to local shelters and food pantries, finding ways to volunteer her time alongside others who shared her desire to help. Together, they prepared meals or organized clothing drives, every effort contributing to filling the gaps for those in need. These acts of service created more rooms within her heart and extended the promise of belonging into the lives of those who felt overlooked. As Sarah engaged with different members of her community, she learned about their struggles. Some faced unemployment, while others dealt with heartbreak or health issues. Listening became an essential part of creating inclusive spaces. She found that simply being present and showing empathy helped others feel less alone in their battles. For instance, after connecting with a single mother who felt overwhelmed by life's demands, Sarah offered to babysit for free a few hours each week so that she could have some much-needed time for herself. This small act of kindness not only provided relief but also built a lasting friendship founded on mutual support. The mother later shared how Sarah's gesture inspired her to reach out to others in similar situations, creating her own network of caring individuals. This ripple effect exemplified how one person's commitment to inclusivity could inspire more connections within the community. Additionally, Sarah discovered the power of social media in spreading awareness about her initiatives. She started a community page where people could share their events, needs, and offers of support. This online platform became an extension of her vision, an ever-growing space filled with opportunities for people to connect and uplift one another. One particular post caught her attention. A young man named Daniel shared his struggle with anxiety and feeling disconnected from friends after moving to the area. Sarah reached out privately, inviting him for coffee at the cafe she had transformed into a gathering space. When they met, Daniel opened up about his challenges and fears. Sarah listened attentively and reassured him that he was not alone, that there were many rooms in this community where he could find support and acceptance. Inspired by their conversation, Daniel took the initiative himself. He proposed starting an anxiety support group that met regularly at the cafe. With Sarah's help and encouragement, the group blossomed into a safe haven for many seeking understanding and friendship. Through these real-life applications of Jesus' message about many rooms, Sarah saw firsthand how connection and community can change lives. The relationships formed in these shared spaces began to enrich not only the lives of those involved but also her own life immensely. She discovered that by opening her heart and being responsive to the needs around her, she fulfilled Jesus' call to create belonging. The importance of community became clearer than ever as she watched people forge friendships across generations, backgrounds, and experiences, all thriving within this warm embrace of acceptance. Each person brought their own uniqueness into those many rooms, contributing stories that enriched everyone's lives. In conclusion, Sarah's journey illuminated how the promise of God's love can be made tangible through our actions toward one another. The message of inclusivity extends beyond individual beliefs. It calls us all to build connections rooted in compassion and understanding. As we navigate our own struggles or witness others facing theirs, let us remember that we each have the power to create spaces filled with love and belonging, rooms for everyone in God's vast home and our communities alike. By doing so, we embody the spirit of Jesus' words and serve as instruments of hope in a world desperately in need of connection. As we take a moment to reflect on Sarah's journey, let's consider how we can apply the beautiful message of many rooms in our own lives. The idea that there is space for everyone in God's love invites us to think about our relationships and how we can create those rooms of acceptance and kindness for others. Imagine your heart as a cozy home. Are there rooms available for friends, family, or even strangers who might be struggling? Each room represents an opportunity to offer support, love, and understanding. In this fast-paced world, it's easy to become so focused on our own lives that we forget the power of reaching out to those around us. But remember, just as Jesus welcomed all into his Father's house, we too can open our hearts to others. Take a moment right now to think about someone in your life who might need a little extra kindness or support. It could be a neighbor who seems lonely, a friend facing tough times, or even someone you've never spoken to but would benefit from a friendly hello. What if you took the time to create a room for them in your heart? This doesn't have to be an extravagant gesture. Sometimes the simplest acts of kindness can make the biggest difference. For instance, consider inviting that neighbor over for tea or coffee, just like Sarah did at her cafe gatherings. A warm conversation can transform someone's day and remind them that they are not alone. Or perhaps you could reach out to a friend who is going through a difficult time with a heartfelt message or phone call. Sometimes just knowing that someone cares can provide comfort and strength. As you reflect on these potential connections, think also about how you can foster an inclusive environment in your home and community. Could you start a book club where people gather to discuss stories that resonate with them? Or maybe organize community cleanup days where neighbors come together for a good cause while building friendships along the way. These shared experiences not only create lasting memories but also strengthen bonds among individuals from different walks of life. Now let's take it one step further. How can we challenge ourselves to break down barriers? In today's society, it's easy for differences, whether racial, cultural, or economic, to divide us. But what if we chose instead to focus on what unites us? When we approach each other with empathy and an open heart, we create spaces where everyone feels safe and valued. Think about joining local organizations that promote inclusivity and support marginalized groups. Volunteer your time at shelters or community centers. Not only will it help those in need, but it will also open your eyes to new perspectives and stories. By actively engaging with diverse communities, you'll enrich your own life while creating more rooms for love and understanding within your heart. This journey toward connection isn't always easy. It requires vulnerability and courage, the willingness to share your own struggles as well as the openness to hear others' stories without judgment. As we navigate these conversations together, let them serve as reminders that we're all human and face challenges in our lives. As Sarah discovered through her acts of kindness and compassion, creating these rooms isn't just about helping others, it also nurtures our own sense of belonging. The more we give love away freely, without expecting anything in return, the more joy comes back into our lives. So let's take this moment right now. Visualize what your home looks like with each room representing someone whose story matters, a place where laughter is shared over meals or hugs are exchanged during tough times. Picture how vibrant life becomes when you cultivate those spaces filled with love. And remember, by opening your heart and welcoming others into those rooms of acceptance, you're living out Jesus' promise that his Father's house has many rooms for all who seek comfort and connection. Let this reflection inspire you today. Think about how you can embody this message in your daily actions. Choose compassion over indifference, choose connection over isolation, choose kindness over indifference. As you go forward from here, may you carry within you the spirit of endless possibilities, building rooms where everyone feels they belong, a tapestry woven together by shared experiences of love, and growth, and hope for tomorrow. In doing so, let us all become architects of belonging in our communities, creating spaces where every person knows they are cherished, because indeed there is room enough for everyone. As we come to the close of our journey today, let's take a moment to reflect on the beautiful message we've explored together, the idea that, in my Father's house are many rooms. It is a message that speaks to the core of our human experience, reminding us that no matter what we face, there is always a place for us to belong. Imagine, for a moment, a family gathering, perhaps during the holidays. The aroma of delicious food fills the air, laughter echoes through the hallways, and each person has their own unique space around the table. Some may be sharing stories of joy while others recall memories filled with challenges. Yet, in that cozy atmosphere, everyone feels valued and cherished. This imagery reflects how God envisions His house, a place overflowing with love and acceptance where each room holds its own special story. Let me share with you a story that perfectly captures this sense of belonging. There was once a man named Thomas who lived alone in a small apartment. He had moved to a new city for work and found himself feeling isolated and disconnected from those around him. Each day felt heavy as he sat at home after long hours at his job, longing for connection. One fateful evening, Thomas decided to take a walk in the neighborhood park. As he strolled along the path, he noticed a group of children playing soccer nearby. Their laughter was infectious, and he felt a tug at his heart, something inside him yearned for that same joy and companionship. As he stood watching from afar, an elderly woman approached him with a warm smile. "Why don't you join us?" she asked kindly. Thomas hesitated but felt invited by her genuine spirit. Gathering his courage, he walked over and introduced himself. To his surprise, he was welcomed into their game without hesitation. They didn't see him as just another stranger but as someone who could be part of their fun. That evening marked the beginning of something wonderful for Thomas. He became friends with not only the children but also their families, sharing meals together, celebrating birthdays, and supporting each other through life's ups and downs. In those moments spent together, Thomas discovered what it meant to belong, to have his own room within this community filled with warmth and acceptance. This story serves as a powerful reminder that even when we feel alone or disconnected from others, there are opportunities around us waiting to be embraced, spaces where we can create connections just like Thomas did. Every day presents us with choices, to reach out or stay distant, to open our hearts or remain closed off. As we think about Sarah's journey and now Thomas's experience, let's ask ourselves, how can we embody the spirit of inclusion in our own lives? What rooms can we build in our hearts for those who might feel lost or lonely? Each act of kindness we extend can lead to building relationships that transform lives, not just for others but also for ourselves. Remember that creating these spaces doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's simply offering your time to listen or inviting someone over for coffee. Even sending a text checking in on someone who may need it most can start building those precious connections. As you leave here today, carry this message within you. We are all part of something greater than ourselves, a tapestry woven together by shared experiences of love and belonging. Everyone has their own unique room waiting in God's house, just as every individual has something special they bring into our lives. Let hope guide your actions as you foster relationships built on compassion and understanding. Embrace those opportunities to connect with others, whether they're friends you've known for years or strangers you've yet to meet, and remember, there is truly room enough for everyone. So go forth with an open heart, be like Sarah in creating spaces where kindness thrives, be like Thomas in stepping outside your comfort zone to discover joy among others. Together let's build communities filled with love, a testament to Jesus' promise that indeed there are many rooms available for all who seek connection. You are never alone on this journey. Remember that there is always room in God's heart, and in ours, for everyone seeking their place in this beautiful world we share together.